QC.
What's good, y'all? Cigar Fast. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. Today, we have an amazing special guest in the house. She is a mindset coach from Birmingham. We have the amazing D in the building. Okay.
Hello, everyone.
How are you? How are you doing?
I am good, thank you. It's Friday, and Friday feels, Friday vibes. I'm very happy to be in your presence on this Friday. Like I couldn't think of anyone else to have a better conversation with. But no, I'm really good. The week it's been a slow one, in terms of like work and everything else, but nevertheless, I'm thankful because I think I've just been crazy busy every single day. So I'm thankful for a quieter week. To be fair, how about yourself?
Yeah, it's been amazing. It's been
Good.
hectic, but it's been amazing.
The complete opposite then.
Yeah, but I will say this, like, it's just I'm grateful for the fact that I've had a productive week, because we gotta have a productive week. So that's all that matters. But first of all, I would like to say thank you so much for coming onto my platform. I know you're very busy. So I really
I'm glad our
appreciate
schedules
it.
worked out, because I know sometimes like, I can't do this day. What about this time? What about this time? And but trust that whenever it's meant to work out, it's worked out, and here we are. So thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
We love to see it. But for those who don't know, can you just tell the people, like, what made you get into coaching?
Sure. So for me, coaching, I guess it's been like a natural art. And for those who don't know, it's like the complete opposite to therapy, I would say. It's about helping an individual navigate themselves from where they are versus where they want to be. So like point A versus point B. And I think for me, life gave me the hardships earlier on, so then I had to like go through certain transitions, traumas, triggers, problems, healing phases, whatever you want to call it. I had to go through that early, and I still would probably be faced with problems, but it's the case of building my mindset, building my experience, building my emotional intelligence in a way to deal with it and handle it in a better way. And like when you're that one friend who people go to for advice, seek counseling from, seek knowledge from, just seek somebody like listening ears, even if that's the case. I found that to be my position within a lot of people's life, which I absolutely love, and I love the fact that people can trust me with it. I studied business and psychology at my undergraduate degree, and I started to think about what type of field of work would I want to go into that's going to be beneficial, where I can make an impact. And of course, psychologists, counselors, therapists, and so forth, they're doing a great and amazing job, but I didn't feel like that was my specific calling. I felt like the more research that I was doing, and I came across coaching, I was like, oh, this is actually something that I think I could benefit from, because you have that freedom and flexibility to like be who you are and embody that statement. So like whilst I do coaching in itself, I like to promote more self-love and mindset, which is what I'm about, whereas like the psychology and therapy fields are more niche specific, and you need to be from like in some cases from a medicinal background and have that education, which is what I'm not from. And I'm more than happy to like direct people who require that help or extra assistance that way. And what coaching for me is like giving the practicality, the action plans, helping you set the goals, and it's just like a way in which I can mirror what I've been through and help many people in their own journey blossom, really. So that's how I found coaching, just to be an aid within the world to like provide more help, positive solutions, and get people back on track with their true self, their life, get their mind together, and just promote more positivity in general, because the world needs it at times. Yeah, exactly. The world needs it.
Yeah, and it's very rewarding as well. I feel like coaching is quite rewarding because you're changing people's lives. You're helping people,
definitely.
So for me, when I first wanted to do this StreamYard live, I was like, what better way to do this live than Dee herself? Because I know, like for me, I feel like one of the reasons why I wanted to touch on the topics of embracing yourself and overcoming insecurities and self-love, basically, is because it's like a part of my journey.
Yes, of
course. I felt like I really wanted to bring this topic when it comes to just like mainly on like overcoming insecurities, embracing yourself, and holding yourself back. And I wanted to basically touch on, self-love is like a broad definition.
Yes.
But what I will say is self-love isn't just about loving yourself from the outside, but it's also loving yourself from the inside. Like, have you had any experiences, or do you have any insecurities where like you do have at times, and how do you actually deal with them?
Okay, that's a good question. I'm going to talk about, I'll take it from an angle from the past me, like the previous old me.
Yeah.
And I'd say one thing that I was really insecure about was my body image. I grew up being like the chubby child in the family. Out of your friendship groups, you can tell like I stood out a little bit more, and I was like absolutely not fine with it. Like I didn't recognize it until people called me out about it, and I'm like, oh wow, or like you're trying on a pair of trousers, and you're like, oh no, they're not fitting as nicely, and going up and up and whatnot. And now I love this new movement that we put out with like body positivity, people loving their curves, their shape, and so forth. And it's great to see, but it wasn't there back then. And so previously, I would say definitely that caused me to become quite shy. Like me and you on this camera would never happen. Me going out in places would never happen. Wearing like revealing stuff, like even if it was showing my arms, showing my legs, showing something, I would never do it. It's always like baggy, big. It was just a place from me being shy, not comfortable in the skin I'm in, and like worrying about people's opinions or worrying about being judged for my size and how I look. And that was something that I was insecure about, and it manifested in like just daily lifestyle. Like I said to you, if I was still in that same mindset or in that same person who I was now, I wouldn't be having this live conversation with you. I wouldn't be on the platform that I'm in. It's kind of like how I held myself back. How I embraced it, or like with that inner talk, was actually saying, what can I do about it? Okay, I look in the mirror first and foremost, and I'm not saying any positive things about myself. I'm not looking and talking to myself with love. I'm not coming from a place where I'm waking up, I'm not happy to be in the body that God has created me in. Do you know what I mean? And I was just like, what can I actually do to like fix that? So cool, it was the diet, it was working out, it was like promoting more positive affirmations and actually doing the work. And it was actually like talking to myself in a place of love rather than thinking about the opinions of other people. Because if I lived in the image that people wanted to me to be, say for example, oh, you need to be skinnier, you need to be this, you need to do that, then I wouldn't be living for me. I would say, just out of context, especially within this society or this day and age now, that pressure with beauty standards are high. So if there's one thing I could leave people, it's just to definitely, like what you say, it's about embracing you. If there's any insecurities about your looks, anything in particular, like what do you gain? This is the key question. What I was asking myself is, what do I gain from looking in the mirror and pointing out everything that's a flaw, that I'm insecure about, that I don't like? It's just like a list of things that don't make me start my day in high hopes. It doesn't make me walk out the house with confidence. It doesn't make me feel good. It was just like a way in which I was at my detriment. I would say I wasn't doing anything that was healing, promoting for me, and I just had to like kind of ignore the opinions, quiet the inner critic. Obviously the logistic thing was watching what I was eating, working out, like doing the work and not playing the victim in the role, because obviously I've got myself or my body in this state, I can get it out. It was just that those types of things. And in certain cases people have more, I don't know, they have a bigger story, a bigger insecurity, a bigger problem than mine was per se, and nobody's is bigger or smaller than the others. But like in my opinion, that was something that was really hard for me to deal with, especially growing up in your teens and your 20s, these body ideals, this shape, it was so conflicting. And like I said, it kind of transpired into my daily life, where everything else became a struggle because I was too concerned about being judged by others. So in terms of like the healing stage and working with dealing with that insecurity and embracing me, I definitely just reiterate the fact that it's having that conversation with yourself and figuring out what can you do right now that's going to promote more love into your life, something better, and actually wake up with a smile when you look in the mirror, for sure.
Oh my God. First of all, I feel like we have something similar, because
Go on.
when I was younger, I was chubby as well.
Yeah.
And I had to struggle as well with in terms of my weight. And I was like one of those people that, I'm very bubbly, full of energy, but I feel like because I was so overweight, it knocked my confidence down, and I had such a big problem with body image. And like you said, I used to look in the mirror as well. Like literally, I was like looking at myself in the mirror, and I used to cry because I hated what I saw in the mirror. I was like, I used to say like negative things about myself, not so nice things about myself, and eventually I started accepting it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And what people don't seem to understand is, even though you might not like what you see physically, but it does affect you mentally because of the things that you say about yourself. And at one point when I was at uni, because I did gain the weight in uni, because I lost the weight, then I gained the weight again. And I literally started taking it out on other people because I was so insecure that I was projecting my insecurities on other people. But I feel like other things added onto it because I wasn't around with the right circle as well. So that added that pressure as well.
Yeah, but it's
But
interesting that you said, sorry to cut, it's interesting that you said just to,
yeah,
that it's a problem that you're dealing with, but it also affected your external reality, like you lashing out on people and being mean, being horrible, acting out of character was because there's a place that was wounded and hurt
yeah.
within. So I completely respect and understand what you were going through.
Yeah, and I was also like, I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat it. I was also under the influence as well because I was blocking those thoughts as well because I hated what I saw, and it was really bad. Like I really hated like what I saw in the mirror, and my I had such a low self-esteem. My body confidence went low, and I had to sit back and think, you know what, this is unhealthy.
Yeah.
Like I am not making myself like happy here, like. So I had to change that. Like I was like, if I'm not going to change, this is going to continue to happen as well. So I definitely can relate to that, you know, and I feel like it's very important that, you know, even though you want to say, like, if you want to make those changes, you don't just make those changes physically, but you got to make those changes mentally, because I found myself that even though I lost the weight, mentally I was still saying those negative things as well about myself. So I had to make those changes as well, but that was like coming like years down the line.
Yes.
Because I wasn't really educated in terms of like affirmations and all that self-love. I just wanted to look in the mirror and feel good. So what do you think, why is it so important to say those positive things about yourself? Why is it important to have those affirmations and to say them daily?
Do you know what? The first thing I would say is that yes, they're important, but equally, you have to believe them. You can't just wake up in the morning and tell yourself you're beautiful when you've been bashing and beating yourself up for the last year or month or week or however long it's been, and then decide that, okay, you love yourself. Actually make them personal to you. Like you can go on Google, you can go on the Selflove page, you can go on wherever to find certain affirmations, which is great, but it's actually making them personal to you. So say for example, if I wanted to go back to that stage, I wouldn't look in the mirror and be like, oh, I'm slim, oh, I'm in the body that I love. It's the case of actually like, I'm working towards loving my body. I'm working towards becoming healthy. I'm working towards becoming or having the body of my dreams. You know what I mean? And the affirmations are themselves are great to see. They're great to like keep you on track, but they're nothing without action. So like going back to the example of me looking in the mirror, I wouldn't look in and be like, okay, cool, I love my body, when I actually don't. It's the case I'm working on loving my body, and then the actions are in the background. How am I doing that? Gym, eating healthy, looking in the mirror with love, looking in the mirror and pointing out something that I like first and foremost, rather than something that I don't like. But going back to the main question, I think they're important because it's a way in which you can promote program your mind to think differently. So it's a great starting point, but it's definitely something that you have to go into and address whether you believe it or not. Are you just saying it because it's something to say, or are you saying it because it's genuinely something you believe and genuinely something you want to birth into your reality? And hopefully it's the latter, it's the second one. You want to bring it into your reality, so then you can wake up and say, actually, you know what, I love my body and I love everything about it because I've worked on it. I'm eating healthy. I'm doing what I need to do to become the vessel and person that I want to. And like just taking it away from the body aspect and just bringing it into like self-love. A lot of people might be struggling with like their confidence, their self-esteem. There's doubt, there's fear, there's this isolation, there's loneliness. If there's something that's a point of, if there's something in your life right now that's bringing you down, your point of pain, how can you turn it into a point of positivity? What do you need to do to like switch the narrative and say, okay, what's no longer serving me right now is causing me to feel this way. I now want to feel this way. Okay, what can I do about it? you implement those steps, and then with those steps then you get your affirmation, because someone's affirmation might work for them, it might not work for you. There's so many out there, and it's not even just the case of like there's rules and principles. It's actually just waking up and owning what you want to own, and then going back to the main point, embracing you, embracing everything about yourself within that affirmation.
I totally agree as well. I mean, I feel like when you just say the affirmations, they just feel empty. You're just like, oh, it doesn't work. But in reality, it's because you're saying them and there's no emotion in it.
Yeah.
You're not
Emotion is
feeling it.
key.
You're just saying it for the sake of saying it. And it's fine. There's gonna be days where you're not gonna feel like yourself. You're not gonna feel 100%. But in order to say those affirmations, in order for those affirmations to work, you've got to feel it. You really
Definitely.
do.
It's about the embodiment, because what I teach clients as well, it's just like a quick example. If I was like here sitting down, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. You wake up in the morning, I love myself, I love myself. Or even if you're just in the mirror, like I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. Are you actually feeling it? Whereas if you put your back straight, you put a smile on your face, you look at yourself, you just bring in that feeling, you're like, I love myself. Even just saying it right now, it just makes you feel good. So like actually embody, think about, before you did the affirmations, I definitely recommend to people to define and feel what that feeling means to you. So like you loving your body when you wake up, what's that going to feel like for you? You promote more confidence into your life. What does confidence look like? What does a confident you look like? Do you know what I mean? It's the case of actually embodying everything that you want to believe about yourself, what you want to feel about yourself, before you just say it. Because even on the days when, like you said, when you're not 100% feeling it, you'll still remember, and your body will have those imprints and patterns, the physiology programs and so forth, to be like, okay, she's feeling confident today. She might not look it, but she's feeling it. Do you know what I mean? And that's just the way you have to go and program your mindset to work in your favor, really.
It's good that you said that, because, like you said, what does your confident self looks like? Because at times, I'm not going to lie, I am like, I am a confident person, but there's going to be days where I'm not feeling myself.
Yes.
So then I've got to remind myself, okay, well, facts, what does your confident self look like? You know that you can be your confident self. So what does your confident self look like? And then I snap out of that inner critique. I snap out of like self-sabotaging myself. I'm like, actually, like, what was I thinking all this time? Like, I'm a sweet one. Like, what? Like, you're gonna like, and I feel like a lot of people are scared to do that. They're scared to make those changes. So it's good that you actually said that as well. But one of the things that I wanted to speak on as well, like, I feel like, I don't know if you can agree with me, but I feel like your circle and the people around you can also play a part of, like, it can also play with your insecurity as well. And it's like one of them ones, like, what I mean by that is like, you can be like the confident person in your circle, and you're always like embracing your confidence, but then the people in your circle might be the ones that are like projecting your insecurities onto you, and then at one point you start accepting that. So how important is it that you have the right circle around you?
It's 1,000% important, especially in this day and age, because of this progressive movement with personal development. And one key piece of advice is, what I have come across, is that you meet yourself where you meet yourself. So where you like things that you like to do, places you like to go, activities that you find fulfillment and enjoyment in, you'd find like-minded people around you in that essence. So say, for example, like how we met at a networking event, very like-minded, very inspirational, very passionate about what we do, and we can bounce off and flow off each other in that sense. But say, for example, your circle, people grow and like we change. So your friends start working this place, go to uni in this place, go here, and then there's different dynamics, because then you meet yourself in a different way. But back to the main point about the circle, your people, it's important because, for one, they might be the people who you go to lean on when you're feeling low, when you're not feeling your best self. And if they can't help activate and push you to get that mindset back again, then obviously not right for you. Or maybe not in the sense that they're not right for you, but maybe they don't know how to handle you when you're low. Do you know what I mean? Like, the mindset shifts happen because, okay, cool, you don't want to be around people who think the same. That you do want to have your opinions tested, you do want to have your beliefs tested, but you don't want to be knocked at the same time. You don't want to have people like not take you in as you are, especially like your friends, because this self-love journey changes you. Like one
Yeah.
minute you might be interested in something else, but next minute you discover yourself and then you're interested in something else. Are your friends going to stick by you and stand by you, embrace everything about you in that shift in time and transition that you're going through, or are they going to leave you and judge you and put you on the sideline and not accept you and appreciate that? That's the negative side of having people who aren't really there for you in full, because the beauty of life is what I always say is that we can change the moment, any moment that we decide to. So yes, I always say to people who I work with, take it easy, because whilst you're working on yourself, people don't have to be like have open arms. They can have understanding arms right now and understand, okay, you're making changes because of this and that. But some people don't have open arms because they're not ready to see you in a different light. They're not ready to see you grow, evolve, transition, and become your best self, because they're not ready themselves, and that's absolutely okay. But if people do find themselves being around somebody who, or a circle of people who can't embrace them, then maybe it's about time to reevaluate what you like, who you like. The world is your oyster. Like there's so many people who you can
Ooh.
connect with. Do you know what I mean? There's so many people who you can connect with. Me, the internet makes it easy. You can find a social group on Facebook nowadays. You can go to an anywhere, basically you go anywhere and meet somebody who's probably on the same or similar journey as yourself, and you can click just like that, and then they can bring back that love and hope, that connection that you probably seeked in people who you once knew or you knew, but you've got it there. Do you know what I mean? So whilst your intimate circle or somebody else might not be able to give you what you like, someone else can accept you for it. So it just depends on the person and how you're willing to embrace it. But I'll definitely say don't change. Like if you're changing for you, you're changing for you. Don't change for
Yes.
somebody else. You know what I mean? Like
Yes, yes, yes,
embrace your
yes.
journey for sure.
The gems, the gems, the gems. I loved it when you said the world is like your oyster. Like I love that. And I feel like what people that's what people don't seem to understand.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they don't want to understand because they don't want to make those changes. Like the world is like your oyster. Like that's absolutely true. And I feel like it's very important as well. Like when someone's projecting your insecurity on you, I feel like for me it's a sign of weakness, because somebody could be just minding their business, embracing themselves, loving who they are, and then just someone out of nowhere just projecting their insecurities
Yeah.
onto them. I think that's very shallow, because
Yeah, of course,
for me it's
definitely.
like it's it's something that you need to work on individually, and it's absolutely fine, but it's not fair on the other person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The good thing about this is growth. So the more you become aware of your thoughts and what you're going through in your transition, the easier it will be for you to spot when somebody is deflecting and putting their insecurity on you. And
Yeah.
that's where that whole phrase, kill them with kindness, obviously not going to kill them with kindness, but then you can like project more kindness to them, so you can see that
Yeah.
they're coming from a place of weakness. How can you then add more strength into their life? How can you support them when they're going through what they're going through?
Yeah.
Somebody who is kind of belittling and not embracing your journey might not just be ready to take charge of their own. And because you're now working on yourself, you can just offer them a place of support. You can be like, hey, I'm working on myself doing this, or I've worked with somebody, I've listened to this podcast, I've watched this video, I think you could benefit from giving it a go, rather than just like biting back at them and feeding into their weakness. You don't want to like fight and fight and fight and not get anywhere, because like I said, the world needs healing, the world needs love. If somebody's coming from a place of weakness and projecting their insecurities onto you, then just help them out, just give them a helping hand. Like I feel like I'm just that person. I'm not going to be bitter, I'm not going to be petty.
Yeah.
I'm just going to give you, like, I operate from love. I don't want any bad karma or anything to come my way because I was mean or anything to. So I know some people deserve it, but I'm just not that person. Obviously each to their own, but if you could put yourself in a situation where you can offer help and support and be nice to somebody, it doesn't hurt to be kind. That's how I feel, because then, especially with today's day and age, there's so many people who aren't confident enough or aren't prepared to be vulnerable and talk to you about what they're suffering with. You know what I mean? Like mental health issues and so forth are on the rise. So you have to. I just feel like the whole promotion, what I do is promoting mindfulness. Like I don't want to be mean to somebody knowing that they're going back home to like a broken family or they're going down into a broken place. Like just be mindful that you're not adding more fuel to their fire, their personal journey, their personal pain. Like just be nice at the end of the day.
Sometimes you've got to make those changes in
Mm-hmm.
order for you to start loving yourself and embracing who you are. But I feel like at times people hold themselves back from making
Mm-hmm.
the changes. Could it be it's because could it be it's because of fear or doubt, or could it be the fact that they're just used to what they know and that's why people just don't want to make those changes?
I think it's a combination of both.
Yeah.
I would say if I was to put it together, it would just be, in short, the fear of the unknown. It's the case of our mind and our body convinces us that it's better to just remain complacent. It's better to just be comfortable. What we know and what we have experienced is great for us because it's not harming us, it's not hindering us. And for as long as we've been doing it, it's helped us, we've been fine. With the ability and with the idea of change, some people aren't ready to meet themselves in a way that's different, which is why I encourage people to spend time alone. Some people can't even do that. Some people like crave that social connection, especially now that things are online, like they're on their phone or they're talking, they're texting, their notifications. Like some people can't spend time alone. And for anyone who watches this, if you can't, I'll just say it's not that hard. Just like spend some time journaling. Do you know what I mean? That's alone time in itself. Take a walk. That's alone time in itself. Just do something where you're with your thoughts, you're with your attitudes and so forth. But the holding yourself back, I think one, it's more than what's at surface level. It's what you've probably been conditioned to. Is there's a limiting belief. You hear people say, oh, this person told me that I'll never amount to something, or somebody said I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm not meeting a standard to what they want or what they desire. And then that belief or that information then becomes your belief. So then that's one reason why you would hold yourself back. And I too experienced that before coaching. Like I thought that I was too young to be a coach because when I was on my training for it, and everyone was older than me, so I was like, oh my god, are people gonna like believe that I can help them? Because I don't know, do I need to have like 10 years worth of experience? Do I need to like showcase that I've helped 100 people or whatnot? Like, but then that was me for a moment. I was just like, maybe it's not right for me, maybe it's not right for me. But then I was like, you know what, let me take a chance, let me take a leap of faith and actually believe that I can do this because it's what I want to do. Like, what difference is it going to make if I add 2 more years onto my age to be like, oh yeah, I'm 26 now, I can do it? Do you know what I mean? That's not like, that wasn't the right thing for me to do. So it's the case of addressing where you feel uncomfortable and actually seeing where you can go once you come out of that comfort zone. Everyone's always like, oh, but what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't work? And then the comeback question I say is, what if it does? Do you know what I mean? Like, what if it does? What can you gain from it? What positive? Like, we're so prone and quick to address the negative of a situation rather than the positive of a situation. And it's not even just this case of like positive. No, it's actually just being realistic. There's two sides, two outcomes can happen, but it's the case of actually assessing which one would you rather. So yeah, you could say, instead of like positive, you could say, oh, what if it does work out? Oh, who might I meet? Oh, what can I learn from it? Regardless of if it works out, if it doesn't, there's always going to be a lesson learned for sure. But the reason why others might also put themselves down is just this whole comparison thing. Especially nowadays, we see people our age excelling in what they're doing, how they look, what they have, the material aspect. But even still, with that comparison aspect, you don't know what struggles they've gone through, you don't know what help they've had, you don't know how long they've been doing it. Like, don't get caught up in comparing yourself. Don't get caught up in your limiting beliefs. If you do have any limiting beliefs, I'll definitely just advise you to seek help, ways in which you can navigate them, understand where they came from, and like literally do the work so that you're no longer operating in a place where you're going to sabotage yourself because of that doubt. That's what I had to do. Because if not, how would I have helped the people who I've helped? Because I'd be like, if someone came to me and was like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, how could I tell them to do it and go for it when I'm not going for my own dreams? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I have to embody and act as a vessel for people to grow as I'm growing. And that's one thing, just going off topic, that what I learned from my clients. I do a lot of work with them, and I've witnessed them growing and the changes that they're making. And I'm like, wait a minute, this week I need to do something as well. And that's my motivation. I can see people grow, and I'm like, I always want to push myself in a new way, in a new light, to see how I can grow as well. And like, if going back, taking it back to the circle aspect, in that sense, if you're around people who are pushing you to grow and elevate, change your mindset, introduce you to new information, then definitely on your journey alone, get that book, listen to that podcast, find that mentor or that inspiration, that quote, the coach, but more so like inspiration. See if there's somebody who's been on a similar journey to yourself, understand what they went through, and try to replicate it, or just try to do it in your own authentic way. Do you know what I mean? So that you're not holding yourself back. You know where you're going, you know the results that you can get, and literally just own it. Like I tell people to own their throne, live your life, and just do what you love. Most importantly, I'd say do what you love is why I live by. Like, don't just do something for the sake of doing it. Don't just do something because your friend's doing it and they're successful. And if your heart's not in it and your head's not in it, it's not going to work out for you at all.
Oh my God, honestly, D, I'm taking all of this in. I feel like a lot of people are going to take all of this in because honestly, you're dropping all these gems.
Yeah.
And I feel like I don't think people understand, like, loving yourself unapologetically and just embracing yourself is just, that feeling is just undescribable.
Yeah.
Like, it's such an amazing feeling when you actually start to really love yourself and embrace who you are.
Oh, it's giving me tingles because it's just like,
it
takes you back, like when you first start, like coming from a broken place. Like for me, I suffered a lot with depression, and I haven't felt it. I wouldn't say I have. I've felt pretty much really good with my mental health. Like, I've had great days. I've got the tools and techniques to bounce back. But like, I guess when I was operating from my low self, when I was depressed, there wasn't any love, there wasn't any healing, there wasn't any light going on. But like, when you just mentioned that self-love aspect, I think people nowadays, I don't know, sometimes with this whole self-love concept, people like shun people, like, oh, what is self-love? What does that mean? Do you know what I mean? I'm like, why is there any need to be nasty or negative towards somebody wanting to just, do better and improve themselves? Do you know what I mean? Like there's no need for people to be bitter about people wanting to be better. Do you know what I mean? Like, just let people, like, because I don't know, you might have known somebody 5 years ago and then they're still
I know a lot.
Yeah, and they're gonna be like, oh, she wasn't like that 5 years ago. Exactly, because she is growing, she is becoming her best self. Let her go and join her if you want to. Like, there's no point like being mean about it. Like, let people love themselves. That's all I can say. Like,
but I feel like, sorry to cut you off, but I feel like the reason why people say those things because people are only used to the old you. They're comfortable with the old you. So when they start seeing changes and seeing the new you, they're like, they get a bit uncomfortable. They're like, wait, hold on, who's this? Like, what's going on here? Like, that ain't you. I can't walk all over you. Yeah, I can't just say all these things to you anymore because, somehow, like, it's like a form of, they're intimidated by your character. They're intimidated by your confidence. And that's what it is. I don't know if you agree with me, but
no,
that's
I think
what
it's a great point. Yeah, I think it's a great point. And taking it back to the place of like other people bringing out your insecurities, it's just a case of maybe they haven't worked on themselves. And I guess sometimes it is unfortunate that somebody who you've probably known or knew of, should I say, 10 years ago, you bumped into them and they're still the same characteristic, mannerisms, behavior, mindset. And then from your place of working on yourself, there's no harm in telling them, hey, look, have you thought about this? Do you want to do this? If people don't want to change, then that's absolutely up to them. However, what I do say is that change will catch up to you. Like, as much as you want to deny it, as much as you don't want to believe in it, as much as you want to think that you're perfect and you're okay the way you are, change will come to you and hit you like when you're least expecting it. And it could be, for example, with me, like, as much as I didn't like people pointing out my body and whatnot, maybe if I continued like eating bad, not exercising, I could have probably been suffering with like illnesses or something, or not being in my healthy self. So maybe that change was needed. It was necessary for me to become my best self, become my most healthier self. But say for example, if people taking you out of that example, if you've got the same attitude, you've got the same mindset, you've got the same feelings, reactions toward things, then you're going to be taught a lesson eventually that this can't happen, and you can't be, I don't know, let's talk about like arguing or being reactive. Like if you were somebody who's a hothead and very mouthy, you'd learn like certain situations, say for example in your job or around certain people, it's not going to work out. Like somebody could give you a backhand, somebody, you could lose your job. Do you know what I mean? Like there's certain situations where you're going to meet yourself and you can't act the way you are, and that's where change has to like take place. Like you have to want to grow and, you know, water new seeds and experience a new you blossom, really.
Like, I honestly, I loved everything that you said, because I feel like it's very important that you got to be careful how you act and react towards people. Like you said, you don't know, especially people of these days. People are crazy these
People
days.
are scary sometimes.
Yeah, people are crazy. You can't just be running your mouth and opening your mouth, because you will get it at the end of the day. And not even that, like you said, there's no need for you to be nasty. It's not that serious. If you've got an issue, get some help, get some support.
Literally. And there's
Come
no
to do it, get a coach and do it with D.
thanks for the promo.
Like, you know what I mean? Like there's so many ways to work on yourself, but because people are so used to their old ways, that's why they are the way they are. So
the thing is as well is that it's coming from a place of, one, do you want to be vulnerable, and two, do you want to accept the help? And there's so many people out there who can help you. You don't have to work with the first person you see on Google, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and so forth. But if you feel called to work with somebody, definitely do it. Because of people being a bit more, I guess people are a bit more open-minded in today's society. So then if you were to open up and say to somebody, oh, I am struggling, somebody will definitely help you out. Like I know that within my support circle, I can say,
hello.
oh, sorry.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I could go to somebody and say, oh, I'm not feeling my best self, I'm not doing well. But it's the case of, okay, cool, let me sit down and talk to you about this and that, how you can get help. But some people, what I've learned through coaching is that some people want to get the help, but then they go back into that self-sabotaging place and that comfort place, and they use the term, I've always been this way, I'm a product of my environment, everybody in my family is like this or whatnot. And then because you've now embedded that belief and you've embedded that situation as your reality, you kind of accept it. And that's when you're like, okay, I can't help you right now because you don't want the help, you don't want the change, you don't want to see yourself in a different light, but I'm here if you do. But then if people come to me with that excuse, I do try to navigate them through a way where, okay, you're like this, you've always been like this, so does that mean you have to be like this? Do you have to be like this for the next 10 years? Do you have to be like this for even the next week? Do you know what I mean? Like, we can wake up and decide to change instantly. That's the beauty of our mindset, that's the beauty of life, that's the beauty of self-discovery and self-love. Like we can wake up and decide that we want to be different because it's going to lead us to this result, it's going to make us feel this way. But unless you genuinely want to feel it and want to experience it, then maybe that's why some people aren't too prone or keen on making that commitment to themselves.
It's funny because I'm gonna be really transparent and honest. Like years ago, I'm not gonna lie, like I was such a people pleaser because I was so concerned about what everybody thought. I was so concerned about people's feelings, but I wasn't concerned about my own and what I had going on, because I didn't want to upset people. I didn't want to like I was so just concerned about what other people had going on. Until one day I realized, you know, enough is enough. Like, this is too much, because how is it that I'm pouring into everybody else, but I'm not pouring into myself? And then one day I just decided to just make this, like at one point I even changed. Like I was literally like, this whole facts that you're seeing right now, I was a completely different facts at one point, because I didn't want to be alone. But
Okay.
then once I started making those changes, like God started removing people out of my life, and I was alone, and I was alone by choice. Well, yeah, by choice, because
Okay.
I've had to basically figure me out and who I am.
I have a
And
question. Do you know why you didn't want to be alone? Like, what prompted you to not
because,
want to?
yeah, because I was so scared of like, it was like that mindset of, oh, I don't want to be a loner. But then
Okay.
few years down the line,
Mm-hmm.
I love being by myself. Like, I enjoy my own company. Like, just do not
The
bother me. Like,
irony. Yeah.
sometimes it gets a bit scary,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
because I literally enjoy my company a bit too much. Like, sometimes I don't want to be around anyone. Like, as much as an extrovert as I am, I also like being by myself.
And that's
And
just a human. That's human nature.
yeah,
Like
and at
you're
first
human.
I was very uncomfortable, but I overcome that uncomfortableness. Like,
Yes.
I started loving it, because I was like, you know what? I'm fine being by myself. Like, not everyone gonna accept me for who I am. As
Mm-hmm.
long as I'm
Mm-hmm.
accepting of who I
Of
am,
course.
that's all that matters. So my question to you is, like, what is your best piece of advice to the people that are very reluctant to start in their self-love journey, and they are on their journey of self-love? Like, what is your best piece of advice?
Ooh. Ooh. Um.
If you could
Hmm.
just choose five,
Okay. Let me
what would
think.
you say?
So I would definitely say think about where you could potentially be versus where you are right now, not having practice or not having promoting any self-love in your life.
Mm.
um I would say that there's no harm in wanting more for yourself. You can see so many people doing great things, so why can't you actually see that for yourself? Like you've said previously, like there's no harm in you waking up and deciding to change and decide that your happiness matters, what you want to put your heart and energy, time, soul into is just as important as the next best person. Do you know what I mean? Um, and I think overall, my best piece of advice is that it's something that's going to just benefit people around you. So I know it's about self love, but when people can see somebody who they care about and going through a transition and transformation that's positive, and then sharing gems and whatnot, your self love, your love is going to have a massive impact and a greater impact on other people. Whether or not, I don't want to like stereotype, but whether or not you're somebody who wants to have kids or not, and you've got a big family or not, you've got a lot of friends or not, you're gonna know somebody. You're gonna be in an environment with somebody where they're gonna take something from you. They're gonna learn something from you because you've learned that about you, or you've learned it from someone else. So there's like a spiral. It's a domino effect. It's something that's going to have an impact on many people. And if I want to go back to the domino effect just a little bit more, it's the case of, say for example, if I didn't work on myself and say I had a daughter or I had a kid, or even if I'm around a friend, I'll use a daughter as an example. But if, say for example, if I had a daughter and she came to me and she hated herself and she didn't like love the skin that she's in, she was very insecure, how could I even offer a place of advice to her, knowing that I haven't worked on myself, or knowing that at the end of the day, when I don't know, when I'm in my bedroom alone, I'm crying and I'm looking at myself. I think when you do that work for yourself, you're healing other generations ahead of you and so forth. And I just think, in general, for me, self love is fun. It's great. You get to meet you in different contexts, different situations. It's like how people develop a personality or a sense of belonging when they move away for work, they move away for university, they go on holiday elsewhere, they and spend more time practicing their faith or so forth. You realize that certain things that you really enjoy, that bring you that inner peace, that love, that wisdom, that true happiness, it's just worth it. I think life and so many things within society go on that can be quite negative and draining, but if you can just promote doing something that's going to make you smile and like just feel good about yourself, it's harmless. Do you know what I mean? It's hard work for sure. It's hard work, but at the end of the day, it's harmless to you because you're going to be on the winning end. Like you're going to win when you like want to do better for yourself, if that makes sense. That's just how I see it. I think it's just magical. I can't promote it enough, because there's just so much love to give yourself, you know.
I'm just getting the shivers. Like everything that you're saying, I'm getting shivers because I feel it too. Like everything that you're saying, I feel it. And I feel like to all the young people out there, like honestly, like take on that advice, because it's very important. And even when I have children, I'm definitely going to be putting that into my children when it comes to self-love, because I feel like it's important to like explain that to them at such a young age. You know, when I was younger, it wasn't embedded in me. So I'll definitely make sure that when I have kids, like 100%, I'm going to embed that in them, like from a very young age, you know. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming onto my platform.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Anything else that you wanted to add on? Where can the people find you?
So you can find me predominantly on Instagram at Do It With D. I currently have a 9-week program which is called Unlock Your Authentic Self. This is for those who want to do the inner work, the healing, and find themselves in a better position so that they can just promote more self-love into their life. We go through confidence building, removing that self-doubt and bringing in more self-compassion. We go through so many transitions that it's just powerful. There's inner child healing, there's shadow work, there's everything and more. So if it's something that you feel called to do, especially those who want to be living their best life, this is the keys, the fundamental tool program, I think, that's going to help you promote your best life into existence. And don't be shy. Like if you feel like the program isn't something for you, I do free clarity calls. I'm more than happy for you to like send me a message in the DM so we can have a conversation. But yeah, check out my page, and yeah, just if you want self-love, it's here with me. Do it with D is why I'm here.
Guys, the page is amazing. Go and check her out. Literally, it's all positive vibes, positive energy, self-love. What are you guys waiting for? Follow her now, okay?
Thank you.
But yeah, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, hon.
And yeah, have a lovely evening.
Thank you. Have a great weekend, and thank you for tuning in. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, hon.